50% has to be female and 50% have to be male for that industry to truly reach its potential.
Brilliant.
And I sometimes feel very sad that we don't have enough girls behind the camera.
Would you encourage a similar committee, Hema Committee kind of thing in Tamil as well?
I think all of us are discussing. Let's see. It's too early to talk about it right now, but let us see where this plays out. But as a producer and as a girl being behind the camera, it is very important that we provide a safe space. Okay. We are only facilitators.
Right.
We don't come into the creative because the minute we love the premise and we like the screenplay, we don't get involved in the creative aspect of things. No film can be done within a budget. I always keep a 10% to 15% buffer. So this falls in that 10-12%.
Will you miss Vijay in film industry as he is like moving towards something bigger?
Absolutely. Personally, and I think from an industry standpoint, it's a big vacuum.
Hi viewers, this is Kirubhakar for Showsha. With us we have Archana Kalpathi ma'am for GOAT. Thank you for talking to us, ma'am. Thank you for your time. So I'll start by asking, how is to travel with Vijay sir for the second time?
I think it's been a wonderful experience and very special, and we've done this film across so many countries as well. So it was just a very special moment for me, and it's also a very important film in my career as well. Yeah.
Logistically, like doing a film for in 5 countries, across 5 countries, should have been really tough. And how did AGS pull it off?
It's a complete team effort. So we have a very strong set of, we have a very strong executive producer, line producers. My sister is also part of the production team, and we are about 50 people.
Okay.
So we would split our work, and because it was a little challenging because we had about 3 months of pre-production, and then we had to also go and see the locations, right? So we had split, even the direction team had split the team into 2. So one set would go before, do the recce, and then me, the director, and the DOP would go to the location again with the action director, check everything. And then the entire crew would follow. So we would shoot for 20 days, and then the remaining 10 days is when the next set of logistic planning had happened, and then the next country. So it was quite mad.
On one hand, you identify talents like Pradeep Ranganathan with Love Today, which is like not that big a film in terms of budget. And then you make Behil, and then you make GOAT. How do you identify these talents, and how do you go about finding these stories?
So I can't take complete credit for it. I've been lucky as well because stories come our way. I think when you are open to making all kinds of films, stories keep coming our way. And also I think having a chain of multiplexes and sort of watching all my films in theaters has definitely there's a small advantage because you sort of know what the audience wants. See, and there are patterns and trends in any business. And film is also, like, it falls under that category. So you will know that this is a genre that people are enjoying right now. And sometimes the genre can be overdone as well because you know when that it's moving to the next genre. And you also know what people are appreciating, when they're clapping. So when you read a bound, you know whether it's relevant or not. And I think it's very important to make relevant films.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and how much of a freedom a director gets when AGS is producing the film?
Complete freedom.
Okay.
We are only facilitators.
Right.
We don't come into the creative because the minute we love the premise and we like the screenplay, we don't get involved in the creative aspect of things. When at least my role personally is when something the director wants is not fitting into the budget of the film.
Right.
That is when the discussion will open up where we'll say, like, because for example, for this film, we wanted to do this in Istanbul. Right. And because it was supposed to be a foreign location or a location where there is some unrest.
Right.
And all that. And then I had this option of Russia, which was a little bit, which was more comfortable for me in terms of a budget. And they had the equipment, they had a Russian arm, they had the technicians to also do the film. So these are the options. So when I present to the director, I'll be like option A, option B, option C, and I'll tell him this option is easier for me to arrange. The visas are easier to arrange. Like in the other locations, sometimes the process will take longer. Whereas here you can do it in 10-15 days, because you're not going to take 10 people, you're going to take 100 people to a different country, right? So this is when we sort of like get involved with the director, and we are very particular about the time frame.
Right.
Because as a production house, we believe that we can do as much pre-production as we want, but when the shooting starts, that has to be completed within the planned time, because that impacts your budget and that impacts the numbers in a very, very big way. And also that means you have clarity on what you want to do.
Right.
So we sort of insist on that. So these are the aspects in which the production plays a role in coming into the creative side, but not from a completely purely creative space.
Was this film like was shot on the planned budget, or it was overshot, or it was like planned, it was done in lesser budget?
See, no film can be done within a budget. There is a like I always keep a 10% to 15% buffer. So this falls in that 10-12%.
10-12%
buffer.
But the time frame was perfect.
Time frame was on spot. Actually, we wanted it in August, but we wanted a solo release date and a good release window. So no, this was well within our.
As a producer these days, more than producing a film, promoting has become a huge task in itself. Like this itself, you've been doing so many interviews. Is it taking a toll on you as a producer?
It's our way. We need to promote it, right? We need the audience to know about the film without them knowing too much also about the film.
Oh, that's the tricky part.
That's the tricky part, right? So it's important that people who are behind the making of the film, the makers, the director, we come and sort of like, explain what is being done, so that there's some interest among the general audiences to come in.
And when you have a star like a Vijay or Ajit, anything you do that becomes a talking point on social media. And when you are promoting a film that is of a budget of 380 crores, you have to have that sense of control of how the narrative is building on social media. And do you think like more promo materials like songs and trailers are sometimes being counterproductive for setting the narrative?
See, now we've come, the information age, right? Everyone wants information about everything. Everyone's curious about everything. Ideally, I think if I revealed the plot and told them the exact story, they'd be the happiest. Then all the updates are there, you can just come in. But this particular film, the premise is all about the screenplay and the surprises and the twists and turns that we've built. So we had to really underplay and sort of keep it under wraps, because we don't want to take away the experience of watching it without knowing what's going to hit you.
Right.
So we feel that's going to have a high impact. So we've sort of kept that really close to our hearts, and we've tried not to reveal anything, but at the same time creating interest. So it is a challenge, in this day and age, it is a challenge.
And will you miss Vijay in film industry as he's like moving towards something bigger?
Absolutely. Personally, and I think from an industry standpoint, it's a big vacuum.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And this is one fun question. Do you like Chinna Kallu Bedda Labam or like Bedda Kallu Bedda like bigger labam? What I basically mean is like,
I know that. I just want to make good cinema.
Right.
So I think of course, we have to make it within a budget that, because all of us are in this to earn money, right? So it has to be profitable. But at the same time, I believe in focusing on getting the film right.
Right.
Because the money will follow.
Right.
So it's a byproduct of a good film.
Right.
But that's not the end game.
And the whole, currently the talking point is women in the film industry. And as a woman, as a producer, is it actually challenging for you?
There are a lot of challenges. I think it's a very relevant topic, and I'm glad that this has come out.
Right.
And all of us are talking about it.
Right.
And I'm very confident that with more discussion, open-minded discussions, I think at first we all have to accept that there are problems.
Right.
And there are challenges. And
Right.
Then how do we put a system in place
Right.
to protect the most vulnerable?
Right.
See, everything is a chain, right? And the higher you are in the chain, the less impacted
Right.
you are with the problems. But it's important for us to speak up and protect those who are coming up.
Right.
And who are starting their careers here, because in any industry, it's very important. I personally, this is my belief, that in any industry, 50% has to be female and 50% have to be male for that industry to truly reach its potential.
Brilliant.
And I sometimes feel very sad that we don't have enough girls behind the camera.
Right.
And for that we have to provide them a very safe working environment.
Right.
Because families also, even now, there is a stigma attached to cinema at home. When a girl says, I want to work behind the camera, I want to do this, I want to do that. The first thing is it safe?
Right.
There is this perception.
Right.
And there are a lot of facts, and there are incidents that are also happening that is backing this perception, right?
Right.
So we need to do something to break it.
Right.
And safeguard them. It's our responsibility and duty of the people who are in positions of power.
Right.
To acknowledge it and then work and do something about it.
Would you encourage a similar committee, Hema Committee kind of thing in Tamil as well?
I think all of us are discussing. Let's see. It's too early to talk about it right now, but let us see where this plays out. But as a producer and as a girl being behind the camera, it is very important that we provide a safe space.
Right. And lastly, I want to leave you with this question. Every production house, this is just not money making. Also, AGS stands for a brand. And what is the brand that AGS wants to stand for?
We want to stand for making good cinema, relevant cinema, and stories that last.
Right.
That people come back to, making the cult classics.
Right.
That is the aim.
And immediately you're going with another big film called Dragon. Can you say anything about that?
Super excited about it. I think Pradeep is a very big talent.
Yeah, and he's a great find.
Yeah, he's a great find. And Ashwath is also an equally super talented director. I love his body of work. So this combination is exciting. The screenplay is terrific. The story is a superb story. And just like Love Today had, Love Today, when people talk about it, a lot of people, they sort of think it's about exchanging cell phones, and it's a fun film. But why it became a big hit is because we try to tell people that a relationship is only based on trust. If you don't trust, the relationships will not last, right?
True.
So Dragon also has a very strong message, not a message, but a concept which I feel is very relatable to Gen Z as well as my generation and my parents.
Okay.
So yeah.
Thank you for talking to us, and all the best for Dragon and also GOAT.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you.